you are obviously a group of beings. You're not physical at this time. You are in a higher realm, you know. With those awarenesses that come to you.
We don't know who's higher or not. We're non-physical, but you're the furthest, most leading edge of thought, so maybe you get the most monkey points.
Monkey is right, yeah, with the drunken monkey at times. My question has to do with, you're also in this realm of desire. You're also in this world, this universe that's being led by desire, that is desire, and the multiple forms of it. Do you realize that you perhaps have your own limitations of knowledge or of awareness that perhaps, to go back to my Buddhist, for lack of a better word, my Buddhist studying, the ignorance of the craving causing our suffering is truly our just highest or lowest point of being, when we have that ignorance of knowing that we create our own suffering and we don't stop it, as you so well said, so wittily said. We don't just stop it through our awareness, through bringing enlightened focus and energy to ourselves, to our desires, and then just really letting them unwind and become as high and as pure and positive as possible. Do you have awareness of perhaps that you're also in this game?
Every word we've spoken here today answers yes to that question. Mm-hmm. You are the leading edge of that which we are. Mm-hmm. The difference between non-physical and physical is that the non-physical explores the contrast in more detail. You are pioneers that you could say risk more than we do. Your vibrational integrity in the moment. Yeah. And out of that risk is born perfect desire, which we immediately turn our attention to. We are expanding and therefore ignorant of everything we have not yet expanded to. We are never ended, which means there will always be more. When people refer to non-physical as all-knowing, the way we mean that, if we are to project that thought, is we are the culmination of all that has been known. And we stand peaked, ready to know that which is to come.
Do you not also have the desire to stop it? To stop the game at times? To transcend it as the Buddha and other masters have done?
Oh, we have transcended. The non-physical part of us has transcended all of this. That's what we're talking about.
But I'm talking about the desire.
That transcend desire?
To stop the desire. To literally look the game in the eye and say, stop. And to literally transcend even this desire that we are.
Well, that's what we meant earlier when we say we believe that there's a distortion in that understanding, because if it were possible to stop desire, then it would be possible to come to an end. Mm-hmm. And we think that is contradictory to the idea of eternal.
It is contradictory, but it's been done by the Buddha and by other masters.
Well, sometimes when people talk about that, they say, this being has become desireless. And we say, and why does one seek that? Mm-hmm. And they say, for that all-encompassing joy. And we say, is that not desire? Yeah. So we'll give it to you, anything you want, but we'll give it to you that every subject is two subjects. So when you pick up the stick that says abundance, on one end of it is abundance and on the other end of it is lack of it. And the desire for abundance is one vibration. The angst or frustration about not having it is a different vibration. And it is our knowing that what the concentration of energy behind that which you are calling the Buddha was saying is that you want to be a match to this end of the stick, not this end of the stick. And what we meant about the misinterpretation of that is that humans then extrapolate from that the desire for abundance therefore is wrong because I feel better when I release that desire. And we do not disagree with that. If Esther said, the other day about something. She said it about this book. The publisher has encouraged them not to sell the books because it will then make the bestseller list. And so now Esther is on the computer seeing it moving up, and it's moving up from 70 to 30 to 40, 32 to 29, and then all of a sudden up to 3. And Esther said, I don't like this feeling. I don't want to feel competition about the book. And then she said, but State of Denial guy's been on television all week, and so has Barack Obama. In other words, these guys have all. And then she said, I don't like this feeling of, and what she was describing was having a desire for something over which she has no control, and the contradictory energy that is within her. So if she was following the precepts of Buddha, she would say from that, see, this desire has got me in an uncomfortable place. And if I could release that desire, then I would feel better. And
may I? I'm sorry, but as I understand it, the Buddha said it's not the desire, it's your attachment to the desire. And
well, we are using different words. We are saying it is not the desire, it is the resistance to the desire. It's not the desire that you must release. It's the contradictory energy to the natural desire that is born out of what you are living.
The pinched clinginess.
And what that clinginess is what we've been talking about all day here today. It's the upstream thought.
Yeah.
It's the stream that contradicts not only the desire. You see, here's the thing that maybe you are wanting to say, and maybe it is what the Buddha said in all of this, and if in any case it's what we are saying about it, is that this life here in your physical body, which causes you to give birth to desires, it's not just that you give birth to the desire, it's that the larger part of you becomes it. And maybe you want to say, well, once you've become it, then you are not desiring it anymore because you are it. And it's the reason the book that we have written, Ask and It Is Given, we love the title of it because it says all that. It says, when you ask, it is given. And in that, once you have a desire and it is given, then people would say, well, then I'm not still yearning for it. And we say, we think there's a misunderstanding in the word desire. Do you know, we were visiting with someone one day and we were talking about desire, and this person very obstinately explained, I don't want that, I already have that. And he was actually interpreting desire as something not yet fulfilled. And there are a lot of humans that think of desire in that way.
What I want is peace. What I want is insight into the reality. I don't want cars, houses. I feel like a lot of your tools are used for manifestation, and it can be used for manifestation of material and mental. And that material wealth is going to come through mental wealth first, of course. What I want is peace. What I want is truth. And what you want
is what you want at every level of your being is to have your life cause you to become more, and then you want to turn in the direction of that which you have become and move with the rhythm of it. And that is where peace is. In other words, because you will never get it done. There will never be an ending to what you become. But when you learn to move with the rhythm of your becoming, you have that satisfaction. When you move against the rhythm that you have become, that's that pinching, that's that angst that you are so eloquently describing. We like to say, imagine an airplane 500 feet, 50,000 feet going 500 or 600 miles an hour across the sky, and you're watching the landscape go by and all is well. But if you put that same aircraft on the ground at that speed, it wouldn't be peaceful. And so and so you can't stop.
Big picture.
You can't stop the speed of the stream because you've put into motion so long ago.
Yeah.
So when you realize that everything is relative, it's like the relativity. It's like you practice it when you're kids from your science class. When you are in your car and you are moving at 50 miles an hour and you look at a barn off at the distance, and if it's far enough off there in the distance, the relativity of it and you makes for a rather comfortable thing to view. But if you've been told to look at the beetle at mile marker 51, it's a lot more difficult to do. And so it's this vibrational relativity. Everything that you live and everything that Buddha and Jesus and so many of these masters, Gandhi, so many of these masters that have come before you, what they were wanting to explain is the relationship between you. And you're right. You don't have to mimic some relationship of someone who's creating money or someone who's creating relationships or someone who's creating houses or empires. But everyone has the same experience of having a relationship with what their desire has caused them to become and what their thoughts are causing them to be in the moment. And when you get a handle on that and you learn to turn your thoughts that feel uncomfortable to thoughts that feel better, you get into that rhythm, and then it doesn't matter what the subject of your intent is. And that really has been our message from the beginning. We're not trying to get you to create a new red car unless you want one. We're not trying to get you to create anything, but this we know for sure. Every single thing that anyone wants, no matter what it is, whether it's a material object or a pile of money or a relationship or no matter what it is, everything they want is because they believe in the having of it, they will feel better. And that feeling better is what they really want, because that's what you're talking about. That is coming into alignment with who they really are.
Absolutely.
And that is ultimately what you are wanting. But then we, as you heard us say a few times here today, we want you to find alignment with that energy and therefore feel good, because it feels good. And many humans will say, but when do I get my stuff? I feel good, but when do I get my stuff? And so a lot of people will come to a gathering like this and they'll be willing to learn the processes or learn the laws to apply them in order to improve their physical conditions. And we say, and all of that is wonderful because you are creators, but the bottom line in all of it, the reason that you want all of it, is for that peaceful flow that you were talking about.
Absolutely.
Humans like drama in that sometimes Esther said to us one day, and it really speaks of what you're talking about. She said, Abraham, there were things that I really, really wanted that if they could have happened when I really, really wanted them, it would have just taken my breath away. But by the time they came, I wanted them, but it didn't feel like sending up any banners about. It just felt like the next logical step. Yeah. And we say, it must feel like the next logical step before it can happen. Because until you're vibrationally in the vicinity of it, you're keeping it from happening. And that's why you seek that peaceful state of being. That peaceful state of being means you're up to speed with it. It doesn't mean it stopped moving. It means you started moving at the same speed that it is. Oh, isn't that good to know?
It is good to know. Sounds Buddhist to me.
Well, that really was.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. And to you.
Thank you.